Dirt. You know, the games. If you like fast cars that slide around and go, then chances are you probably had at least one of these games at some point. But where did they come from? Who made them? And what made them rise above all the other rally titles as far as mainstream popularity goes? And what's happening to them now? Let's take a look at that. Now, I've already talked on this channel about Codemasters in my Toka 2 video and how absolutely goated of a company they are, or at least were, before. That's a whole other video entirely. We won't necessarily get into that right now. But around the same time they made the masterpieces that are the Toka touring car series, they got an absolute legend, Colin McRae, to work with them to make as real a racing sim as possible, to also provide voices alongside his co-driver, Nicky Grist. They would come back 2 years later with a sequel that improved pretty much every aspect of the game, from the car list, adding more classics, and more special stages to race on. There was even a well-received Game Boy Advance version, which is crazy. It's such a rare win for the Game Boy Advance. Racing games usually always suck, so that's awesome. I'm going to keep an eye out for that one because I kind of want to give that a try. The games continued their popularity with steady sales and positive reviews through till 2007 when things began to change. In comes the Dirt. Though still well received and great time, honestly, with a ton of varied events and dozens of great vehicles the series had grown popularity and been well known for, it felt different, becoming much less sim and a lot more of the Cade. Like they were taking the game in a different direction with this new title, and they wanted to make sure that you knew it. Next year's Dirt 2 still featured Comic Ray's name, but felt the most disingenuous, featuring Ken Block's Subaru on the cover and being sold on every system Codemaster could possibly port it to: Wii, Nintendo DS, PSP, you name it. Definitely less sim and a ton more Cade. I personally don't feel like Comic Ray's name was ever really meant to be attached to it in the first place, but they did so to pay tribute to him and all his work they did with him over the past decade before his death. Pure speculation, obviously, but either way, rest in peace. 2 more years later, Dirt 3 drops, and around the same time, Ken Block is going viral on YouTube for his Gymkhana videos, all over YouTube and all the other forum pages. I genuinely didn't have a gaming friend back then that did not have this game or want this game. Didn't matter if you liked cars or not, you had this game. In the same way that it didn't matter if you skated or not, you had Pro Skater or Skate. It is what EA had been trying to do again with Need for Speed since Most Wanted in 2005. They made driving cool, but they had the same problem now that EA had back then. Could they make lightning strike twice? No. Now it's 2015, Showdown is behind us, getting back to its roots. Codemasters goes with good old stage rallying, and this game, Dirt Rally, positively fucks. 9 years on, I still play on my PC, my Steam Deck. It is genuinely a good time rally sim. Controller, wheel, keyboard, it doesn't matter. An honest, successful attempt in proving that game companies, while those sometimes can go a little crazy, falling into trends and weird bullshit fads, will always remember the cardinal rule. Keep it simple, stupid. There's no way they'll mess this up, right? It's 2020 and so many people are just sitting inside doing nothing but playing video games. Companies are pushing out more and more stuff quicker and quicker to fill the market because they know eventually people will return to their normal lives. And here comes Dirt 5 with the Beats by Dre liveried Aston Martin on the cover, because nothing quite says rallying and off-roading more than that. I got fairly bored of this game pretty quick. All of the races and the settings felt the same, just recolored and reskinned. Everything through the career mode felt repetitive and not exciting, even though everything set the game up to be so much more exciting and thrilling than it really was. What did I enjoy? The split screen. Local multiplayer is always a welcome addition in new games. It's a lost medium, and I enjoyed that. And the car list. While I found the car list to be interesting and fun, I did feel that they were a bit optimistic in all the DLC, but that is obviously just how games make money nowadays, so I did understand it. Car list, interesting, and I always enjoy a car list where I'm like, I'll probably never see that in another racing game, so I like that. But I didn't expect what would happen to the Dirt series next. And now, if you might be going to the Steam store or looking at your phone, wondering if there's a Dirt 6 or another Dirt Rally game coming, well, unfortunately, there's not. Because in 2021, Codemasters was bought by EA for $1.2 billion. Stop buying Battlefield. They don't need this money to spend on things they shouldn't have. Because now, instead of Dirt, we get Codemasters developers working on another EA Sports franchise that's just called EA Sports WRC. I played a 5-hour trial that I got with my Xbox EA Game Pass, whatever it's called, and it's fine. It's objectively a good enough rally game. It looks fine, it sounds fine, there's a decent enough car roster, but has none of the soul or the feeling of the Colin McRae or Dirt titles. It is just another EA Sports franchise, now lost in a sea of yearly releases that take one step forward and 5 steps sideways, never to truly break any new ground again, never to take any chances for better or for worse. I think what happened with the Dirt games happens with a lot of series. They pop up, gain any varying degree of popularity, then hit a crest, plateau, or worse, fizzle out into obscurity, with huge companies like EA taking control of each smaller yet still big popular game makers. We're going to see this happen more and more series are going to disappear because of it. I'm upset that Colin McRae and the Dirt series are no longer. With only the crumb of hope left are rumors of a game called Dirt 6 Dirt Fest, which was an open world experience that was meant to be developed by Codemasters, published by EA, but that was back in 2022, around the time Codemasters was absorbed by Criterion, who made the Burnout series, but is now stuck working on Battlefield and Battlefront and the new Need for Speed games, and that's a whole issue in and of itself. So at the end of the day, Codemasters and the Rally series, however you want to name it, lives on, even if it's a shell of its former self. So thanks for watching this tribute, I suppose, to Codemasters and Colin McRae and Ken Block and the Dirt series. I think together they all brought rallying to a whole new generation, in part through gaming. Cheers.